cost of staying in a job that is making you unhappy is going to accumulate and could have potentially tragic results. But you could do this in a controlled way that isn't scary. You could decide where you want to go, what you want to do, and you can build the skills you need to make that transition across that bridge easier. If you've not seen my videos before, I'm Emma. I'm a life coach, and I have conversations about things that make me really passionate in life, things that have changed my life, things that have changed my clients' life, information that I think could resonate with you to help you in your journey, because life can be a puzzle. You have a responsibility to yourself to be happy. No one else in your life can make you happy. You have to take into consideration the cost of what you're doing. If we apply this to a work situation, to a job that you're in, it's very easy to think the situation I'm in now has absolutely no risk. It has no cost. If I stay here, I can lay out a bunch of options that I have, and I can decide whether or not I move forward with any of them, or I just stay where I am and take no risk. But that isn't the whole situation. You're not being realistic about the cost of where you are now. If you are unhappy in your job, there is going to be 10 things a day, 100 things a day that are annoying you, that are getting on your nerves, that are making you unhappy and lowering your vibration. So over the course of days and weeks and months, that's going to add up. So really what you need to be thinking is, what is the cost to me, to my mental health, to my life, to my emotional experience in this world of staying in this job where I have all of these irritations? Because it's really not that straightforward that where you are now has no risk if you have a job. And there are things to consider in this. When you have a job, you are much more employable. That's just a fact. So while I advocate 100% for happiness and health and being happy and following your dreams and finding your life's purpose, I do not advocate being irresponsible. There are times that I advocate just quitting your job immediately. And that is if your job is making you so unhappy that your mental health is declining, so unhappy that your children are not happy at home because you can't parent in a full and loving, kind, present way. If your job is making you feel like you just can't go on and you have no enjoyment for the rest of life, in these situations, leave your job. Because the consequences of not leaving your job are too high. In a regular situation, I do not advocate leaving your job because you're unhappy until you have a plan. Because we all have responsibilities. You get to a certain point in life and you have a home, you have a mortgage, you have bills, you have children to look after, you have pets to provide for. And you don't get to just walk away from those things and say, oh, it doesn't matter, unless your life is at risk from staying in that job. But if we're not talking about that level of extreme, we're talking about a job that just makes you unhappy. Maybe the people in the place make you unhappy, maybe the hours, maybe the way you're treated, the lack of respect. These are all things that you should not be putting up with, but you should use this time to strategize, to find the best route out. I suggest staying in your job and thinking about what are your other options, while still holding in mind that staying in this job is having a cost. So you are still in a time-sensitive situation. You still need to change things quickly. You need to change things as expediently as you can, but you need to do it with a plan, in control. And it may be that you need to work on your social skills so that you feel more comfortable going into a new work environment. Maybe you need to elevate your interview skills. Maybe you haven't had an interview for a long time. Maybe you have social anxiety or just anxiety at change. Maybe you're neurodivergent and the idea of change is costly to you. But if your job is still costing you, that cost is going to accrue and at some point is going to be a situation that you can't recover from. So there are things that you can do while you are still in your job that are preparing for a better future, preparing for a happier life. Steps you can take to build that bridge. Where am I now? I'm in this job. These are the things that I don't like about it. If I stay in this job, these are the things you need to write down. Where am I now? You write your job, you write the things that are annoying you, and you write, what will be the cost to me if I am still in this job in 6 months? For you, it might be 3 months, it might be a year. When you've done that, you need to find a way to build a bridge to another job, to another way to bring an income that is not going to make you unhappy. You need to write down the things that you're good at, the things that you enjoy, and the things that you would be interested in learning. Because All skills are learnable at any age of life, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I did it. I was a photographer for 25 years. And I was consumed by my job, and it had lots of different variations in it. I worked in the music industry for 10 years. I worked as a portrait photographer, as an event photographer, a motorsports photographer. And then my most recent kind of incarnation of my work, I was working as a wedding photographer. COVID happened. My business got trashed like many other people. I was in a very unhappy relationship, and I had merged my business with that other person, which at the time felt like a terrible mistake. Like, what have I done? But actually, now I'm so grateful because it made it much easier for me to walk away. And I was also already at ground zero. So I had a choice. I had a choice. I can either put my heart and soul into rebuilding my business by myself, or I can put my energy into retraining, learning, being in an uncertain place for a little while longer, and I can change my life. I can change my whole future. And that is what I did. I retrained as a coach. I started coaching. I love coaching. I'm so happy. My creativity photography isn't back yet, but it's still there. I'll always be a photographer. I'll always be an artist. I took that time to shake things up and move on and change. And it was scary. It was scary because I have children, I have a house, I have bills. I was in a time of massive, massive change. It worked out and it was the best thing I've ever done. And you can do the same thing, and you can do it without taking as much risk. For me, the risk had already been taken because I had no choice over the fact that COVID had leveled everything. I had no choice over the fact that I needed to extricate myself from that very painful relationship. And I knew that I wanted to grow exponentially as a person. So for me, it was made almost easier by the kind of tragic combination of things. Find a coach to work with and work on your interview skills, work on your ambition, work on your goals, work on your social skills, work on your emotional intelligence, work on yourself, or do a bunch of self work. Watch a bunch of videos, do a bunch of journaling, take control, and stop being in this place where you feel like you are a twig in the wind of this really uncomfortable situation. Being happy is something I advocate for passionately. I believe that that is just a rites of passage for every human being. I believe that that is the best thing we can do for society, is to be happy, but you don't have to be reckless. You can do things in a well constructed way. If you found this video, then maybe this is your time to go inwards, to start journaling, to reach outwards, to get new skills, and to have that confidence that you can do this and you can navigate this without taking massive risks. And you can change your life. You can absolutely change your life into any direction that you choose. And you can do it in a healthy and productive way. Videos like this, I believe content like this, where we can communicate with each other as a global conurbation, are part of this new wave of connectedness. Technology can be extremely devastating to us, but I also believe it is an incredible gift. If you're still here in this video, I wish you every luck in the world, and I have faith in you, and I know that you can change your life. I know that you can do the things that you need to do to bridge the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. As always, guys, have the best day.